What's up, guys? Welcome back to the That's Sowdev podcast. My name is Dev. If this is your first time tuning in, I appreciate you. If you're returning, I also appreciate you. There's enough appreciation to go around. Speaking of enough to go around, there's enough tea to go around today. Y'all know we got tea to get into, but before we get into the tea, make sure you go ahead and follow me at That's Sowdev on Twitter, Instagram, wherever. Snapchat girl, YouTube, go subscribe. It's time to get into this tea because I literally have tea right now. So I'm drinking gingerbread spice tea. If you know me, I love my tea flavorful. Yeah. I have a whole tea cabinet. It's very serious business over here, okay? Tea is very beneficial. You know what I mean? Resourceful. Right? There are so many benefits, child. Anyway, we're really here to talk about Normani. We are. I'm sure there's a lot of people like, well, what is there to talk about? In a lot of ways, I could probably agree. But also I disagree heavily. Ooh, child, this tea. Now, this tea, you're only going to find it at Vaughn's. They should be paying me to, sponsor or something right now. But, you can legitimately go find this tea at Vaughn's or Albertsons. If you have those stores near you, probably around December for sure, you're going to find that tea. They carry it every year. So, I don't know many places that carry it, but they do for sure yearly. Now, to get into this Normani tea. So there's nothing coming this year. I don't know if anybody has latched on to that yet. I know there's a lot of people that are still delusional. Yeah, it's not happening this year. And look, wait. Let me sip this tea real quick. Hold on, wait. Okay, but bitch, wait. Now, Normani has not released any music of her own since Fair in March 2022. It has been a year and a half since we've gotten music. The time before we got Wildside, it had been 2 years, right? With context, we also know within those 2 years before Wildside, Normani's mom's cancer came back, right? And then we know over the last year and a half that she's been missing, her dad got cancer as well, right? So now that we added context onto that, we're like, okay, things are making sense. We're looking at this from a humanistic standpoint, not a product, not a industry machine, but this is a human being, right? Girl, take all the time you need. Period. Because what the fuck else matters at the end of the day? This music shit, it just don't when it compared to a lot of shit. And a lot of people don't get that because they're chronically online and on Stan Twitter and have been desensitized to a lot of situations, a wide range to be exact, but treating artists like they're just some Twitter account and not some person who has real feelings is definitely one of those things. Now, when it comes to Normani, first things first, you've probably seen the videos of her at Renaissance World Tour. In real life, hella love, down. She's that bitch. Period, right? On Twitter, you may see hella dragging. So it's like, okay, what does this Twitter stuff really mean? Because at the end of the day, look at this in real life love. And then also look at the billions of streams that she has. And, multiple hits that she has with no album. You can bring up no album if you want to, all you want to, but the hits are there. So, I mean, really, and a big thing is because I am a day one barb, which means I obviously was standing Nicki Minaj before Normani stepped on this map, right? So I genuinely appreciate Normani as is, right? I've been standing her since day one, since she stepped on X Factor, since she was flipping her hair in duels with that boy. Okay? That's my sister down. What I don't appreciate is seeing a group of barbs go after her neck. And it all definitely started when she was in the WAP video. I think that was the first time that I had seen a mass amount of Normani hate. It was crazy. I mean, and to even say that, knowing the bullying she went through in 2016, that was a different kind of bullying, though. Definitely, for sure. I think at this point, when all of this began to happen, she already had begun to step into who she is and is becoming, right? Because she is that bitch. We know that. Period. Already confirmed. So it's just so interesting to me knowing what she had accomplished between Love Lies, which was a massive first song that she ever put out into the world as a solo artist, a staple hit in time, a severe hit, charting 1 week shy of a year, an R&B song going number one at pop radio. Whoa. Crazy. Normani has crazy stats. And she can back it up when she steps on that stage. Knowing all that she had accomplished, from the Billboard Music Awards to, Dancing with a Stranger, touring Ariana Grande, a live, massive tour, everybody watching her singing every night, dancing every night, doing both at the same time every night, right? So, what's the issue? Because where did these allegations of can't perform, cheerleader, blah, 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 where did all of that come from? Because that was never said, in the masses especially, because back in 2018-ish, maybe 2019, had to fight the Hive because of Beyonce comparisons. That was the worst of it. And then had to tackle no talent. And it's not like she went number one. It's not like she's one of those, how many female rappers now, if they go get a number one right now, they're going to be hated like hell tomorrow. And yes, that happens to female, just in general. That does happen. But especially to a lot of female rappers. Once they reach a certain amount of success, there's a flip that happens. But Normani has seen an enormous amount of success as a solo artist, even without an album. The people that they try to compare her to do not even attempt to tip the scale at all. And it's not even the fact that these people aren't talented, or even me myself are comparing these people, but when I look at it on paper and I'm logically using facts, this person has an enormous impact on the industry. And what is disturbing is that when one wins, they all win. So knowing that we do get few opportunities, especially us as Black folks, but also Black women in the industry, Black women have very few opportunities. So to see people down somebody who actually has gotten one of those rare opportunities, so to speak, that she says about all the time, now that she has that, instead of uplifting her, because if one wins, everybody wins, you tear that person down. That's kind of odd. But also, screaming you support Black people and Black Lives Matter and Black Girls Magic, but what's tea? What's tea? Because you can ask anybody, what has Normani done? You won't get a serious answer. I promise you, you won't get a logical answer. Because she hasn't really done anything. And I don't know why I even said really, because she hasn't done anything. She hasn't said anything. Even if you are trying to look at it from a Barb perspective, right? Logically, what could you even find? You have to think of something up out of thin air, or you have to go find something minimal and twist it to make it into something, to find something that makes it okay for you to hate her. Like the mental gymnastics that you have to do to hate this girl. And it's like, even the tweets or the little comments that aren't that serious or labeled as quote unquote unserious, they really still require mental gymnastics, because what in your head is doing flips to make this girl seem a certain way to you? Is it because she's in someone's video? And mind you, I don't like this person either. That's just me, right? Everybody like who everybody like. Everybody don't like who everybody don't like. That's really that. And this tea is still hitting, y'all. It's real spicy, too. Come on, gingerbread spice. I ain't playing with y'all. Hey. But no. Seriously, though. Like, there's just no reason for any sort of hate. But what I love the most is that Normani's in a place, like I was saying earlier, where she has really stepped into who she is and who she is becoming, to where it's not really fazing her. Like, she knows that she is that bitch. She obviously is still human, period. Right? So shit do, you know what I mean? You keep on digs like that, and it is gonna get to a person. They may build boundaries where they don't get on social media. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Anyway, but I do understand the boundaries that she has placed on social media, because why would you want to get on and see that every day? Right? So I think that with her being in a new space, like, she really, honestly, as of lately, is looking rejuvenated. She's looking recharged. And that's a very dangerous thing for you bitches. A well-rested Normani that is prepared and ready to go is dangerous. Because even on her worst day, she is still 10 times outdoing another bitch that's giving it their all. I didn't fucking lie. It's true. I saw somebody tweet on Twitter. They said, Normani's lazy. I said, Normani's lazy? I said, Normani lazy? The same Normani that was on a world tour with Fifth Harmony, going to like Asia, the Philippines, all that good shit, right? And making sure that she was at Dancing with the Stars on Monday. And then flying back out to go back to tour every week. So Normani and lazy literally don't go together. They literally had to miss out on funerals during Fifth Harmony to perform. So I'm sorry, they were extremely overexposed, and people do not like to act like the girl group that they were in wasn't something serious. People have to understand, what girl group right now is mainstream and topping a chart, or even charting on a US chart? The US market is the market everybody wants to break. Every girl group wants to break the US market. But what girl group is really out here getting number one, going top of pop radios, on all these award show stages, topping Billboard charts, And mind you, this is not when streaming is not relying on streams. Streaming is still fairly new. 2016, 15 worked it. 12, you know what I mean? The numbers and shit that Fifth Harmony pulled when it mattered even more so. Who's really doing that? When Fifth Harmony left, they took the girl group mainstream with them. You can, drop a song and have it debut, as high as you want to and have it drop off in the next couple of weeks or whatever. But, they had songs that last. They have songs that are literally known to everybody. If you maybe sing the chorus to Worth It or Work From Home, anybody's really gonna know that bitch. You put it on, they've heard it before. Be serious. They have staple hits. And when they left, they took that mainstream with them in regards to girl groups. So Fifth Harmony really pioneered a way, to be honest with you. People don't have to admit that if they don't want to. But where the fuck would girl groups be if Fifth Harmony wasn't around in the digital and streaming era? Fifth Harmony was in a very interesting time. It was definitely where the digital and the streaming was bending, because they were on the back end of the digital when they debuted. And when they were departing, them bitches was basically in the streaming era. No, because I specifically remember 2017 was heavily relying on streaming at that point. The switch was 2016 for sure. So, hello. Them girls went down. They was going down making that group happen. Went through hell and high water, child. So, to act like all of that did not happen prior to Normani stepping into a solo career is very interesting to me. And to sit here and call her lazy after all of that, because after all of that, that wasn't the end. That was just the beginning. And God knows how tired that made them. Look at all the time that they've taken. They've needed this time. Child. No, for real, this gingerbread spice, the spice, it's the spice for me. It's the spice, that little, pow, you know what I mean? That little power heat, and it's boom, boom, gone, you know what I mean? Just enough to not be spicy, but just you know what I mean? Maybe that's why, because when you say spicy is spicy. It's kind of dragged out a bit. But when you say spice, it's kind of staccato. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how the spice tastes. Instead of lasting spicy, it's just a boom, staccato. A nice burst of just flavor and spice. Bitch, they ate that. I'm so sorry. Come on now. Celestial Seasonings. Anyway. Okay. Back to Normani. Ciao. Normani. A rejuvenated, a refreshed Normani is back. And now it's time for mentalities to adjust. Because now my bitch is here for it to speak for herself. And the talent to speak for itself. It's time for people to recognize. It's time for people to recognize the work that Normani has put in the entire duration of her career. It's time for people to recognize exactly what she's coming to do and what she has already done. I'll say it 1 billion times. That girl has billions of streams and no album. But you sitting over here comparing her to other people who... Some people haven't even touched the Billboard chart. It's not even about the chart, but it's about the impact at this point. Because people still dressing up as her for motivation for Halloween. The Wild Side choreography literally causing waves, making people get up and dance. Not TikTok's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, bitch. It took me so long to learn that dance. And when I say learn that dance, I didn't learn that dance to do it on TikTok. 1, 2, 3, 4, do it. Like, you know what I mean? I actually took the time to learn that routine and the technique of it. Like, it made you want to do that. It was fun. It was intricate. It was fresh. So, no, my bitch ate that down. The visuals was amazing. She invested in herself on that video. And that is the Normani that we know. We've known that Normani. We've known she's had the capability, and we know that's only scratching the surface for her. But I feel like one area where now the fans, look, Nation, because no, Nation is like far gone at this point. And I don't think Normani herself realizes how far gone her fans actually are. Her fans aren't really a unit at this moment. Like, I don't know. Because I personally feel like her fans right now, if she was like, she's dropping this week, I don't feel like her fans would be prepared. I feel like everybody would get up. Yes, blah, 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 blah. But Nation has had so long out of music that it almost feels as though the fans are completely disconnected. When you have a fandom that's connected, you come together in a more formated way, so to speak. There's no unity. There's not. Nation has had too much time to get to know each other. A bunch of bitches do not, like, it's just, it don't feel like everybody got a common goal. And I could be wrong. But that is the total energy that I get. I've had to separate myself, especially from, heavy areas of Nation. I had to be in my own little world. Because you're in a group of people who bully, for example, Normani's brother, Sean Bankhead. They're such great friends and collaborators, and I think they elevate each other, and they're super close, but Nation likes to bully him. Someone that she loves very dearly, even though they know what this person means to her, even though they gag over motivation, and then they gag over Wildside, and they constantly see him elevating, but still bully him over what at this point? Because it's not anything like repetitive choreography that they've been seeing from Fifth Harmony, like they said before. So it's tea. And it's the same people that will say another fan base is terrorizing somebody. I'm like, the call's coming from inside the house. You see what I mean? It's a stan issue, not specifically one fandom issue over there and over here and over here. And once people get that, I think it will resolve a lot of the issues. But good luck. Good luck, child. I don't see it resolving itself. I think Stan Twitter is what it is, and it will continue to be whatever the hell it is. But it's like one of those things where we have been, look, and here's the root. I said I'll get to it later, right? And here's the root. The root is there's no presence for Normani. The only presence is when Normani pops her head out. And that's not enough presence to keep her alive while she's away. The talent's always going to speak for itself. When her presence comes, everybody will move. They do. She tends to trend all the time for no reason. But we've got to keep her presence alive while she's gone. There has to be an investment in growing her audience. There does. So I'm hoping this management is going to invest in her supporters, in her audience, in her fans. We can't have any more, and I mean, we cannot, y'all, we're stepping into album mode. We cannot have any more inconsistencies that we've seen with S10. I think Nation is at a waiting point where we're like, okay, we're going to wait and see how this goes. Because I do believe that S10 has served her. Well, I'm trying to find the exact word to say. I think they had served her as best as they could. Right? I do believe they had a plan and a vision, but I only believe they were able to get her as far as they were able to get her. If you feel me. They hit their cap. That's okay. You transitioned my baby out. To be honest, she needed new management right after 2019. That should have been time to switch. I know she was going through a lot. I'm sure all of them held her down, right? Business-wise, that would have been probably the best time. Especially because after the way Motivation was handled, ain't no way. I'm sorry. The way that Motivation was handled, even if it wasn't a single or meant to be one, seriously, like, and then just seeing the inconsistencies just from, a lot of the canceled shows and all of that, like, it was cool. Like, overall, looking at it, it looks messy and it looks like a real management problem. And it's no secret that people think that her team was incompetent. And I'm not saying, that's not coming from me. That's coming from people within the industry who are also managers. That's all I'm saying. So it's like, where do you go at this point? Right? Where do you go? Because after you had Motivation, boom, all eyes on you. Gone for 2 years. Where's she at? Boom. Wildside 2021. Right? What's next? Fair. Oh, cute. Okay. I guess, alright. But it could have been a real moment. I genuinely believe that Fair could have been a really good moment. I don't know what happened. I don't know where that fan video went. Oh my God, that fan video not coming. Oh, let me go ahead and say this. Look, I knew when Fair came out that we weren't going to hear from Normani until 2024. I shit you not. I had been saying it since March, and it wasn't to be negative, but after, coming back with Wildside, seemingly being more consistent, and then, not dropping Fair until 6 months later, and then the mishandling of Fair, I said, yep, that's it. I had a feeling of multiple things. I had a feeling we wouldn't hear from her again from 2004, and I hoped that she would get a new management. 2 things. So those 2 things happened, and I became content with the waiting. I mean, look, I'm going to wait regardless, right? But obviously, I'm going to be still annoyed while I'm waiting, and that's totally fine. It is what it is, bitch. But, like, at this point, it's like, okay, things are more acceptable to me in my mind because I see the necessary changes happening, right? Never when you want them, but when you need them. But that part, okay? Because I'm sorry, we can't, like, going into album mode, there can't be any, we're releasing songs, the songs are coming off of streaming services for whatever reason, canceled performances, like, that can't happen. That cannot happen. No, that can't happen again. That can't happen again. That can't happen again. A lot of these missteps by management can't happen again. It's time to build her presence. It really is. It's time to build Normani's presence in this industry. And I really hope they pull out all the stops to do so. She don't have to come on Twitter. She don't. She can have an account that aims toward fan interaction. That helps keep her presence alive. Obviously, everybody know it. Why would it be her? She has her own account. The greatest thing about Fifth Harmony was that we had the Fifth Harmony account and their individual accounts. All it did was heighten the experience. Could you imagine having that account, an account like that, and then that account gathering fans to do streaming parties or go to this radio station to request? Remember how they were doing for like He Liked That? And then thanking every radio station and essentially sending harmonizers that radio station's way so that way the radio station got interactions and would play the song more. Having an account like that, an interactive fan account like that, will quite literally save her from not being on social media. That will fix a lot. I've been saying this for years. I'm hoping maybe one day somebody on her team or something will come across somebody saying something of the sort, because it needs to happen. It needs to happen. It's so vital. I know that she was overexposed. That's quite literally a way to avoid that happening too. Like, it's a win-win, to be honest. So I'm hoping her management is like, you want to know what? Boom, boom, boom. All steps needs to be hit here. I'm sorry. It do. And that's one of my solutions. I personally don't feel like it's that hard. People are like, can't we just verify Normani Nation, blah, blah, blah. No, it does not need to be ran by a fan. At all. That needs to be professional. Like, be serious. Do you think a fan was running the Fifth Harmony account? Be for real. The girls would sometimes even sign on into it. Girl. It's a shame. It's a shame. I think that management should have been on that. But it is what it is. You know? As for what's next for Normani, Normani is not coming till 2024. Normani is not coming until 2024. And there are a lot of delusional nation that just wants to believe. They're asking, when is it coming? When is it coming? Just stop asking a girl, when is it coming? Because it don't make a difference. She's not going to answer you. It's not going to come any sooner. It's going to be what it's going to be. Let it be. It's not coming right now. I make my peace with that. I don't even go on my Twitter rants. I don't. There's no point. There's no purpose. We went on a blackout. They did not move. They don't give a fuck right now. They're doing whatever it is that they need to do. Whatever. As long as it gets the music out, whatever. It's fine. There have been a lot of leaks. I don't know where they've come from. I may have stumbled across one of them. I'm so sorry. Don't block me if you happen to come across this podcast anyway, which I doubt. But I'm just saying, you know, that Parade song, you know, you know what I mean? It's like if Hubba Bubba had a forever chewing gum that didn't run out of flavor. Like, it's so much chew to the song and so much flavor at the same time. Like, equally. I don't know. She really ate that shit. But like, yeah. Also, a lot of the leaks that I've heard that a lot of Nation is gagging over, and I'm sure they're gagging over it because we haven't gotten any Normani songs, and at this point they're making their own Normani albums. Like, but I see why they were left behind. You know, I mean, a lot of those leaks, I'm sure, were listening to her journey to finding her sound, her voice, or what she feels like is her. So I do think it's interesting to see, because we do get to see a little bit of the journey, because Normani doesn't share anything with us. Which it's so weird. It is, because we know how Normani is, and we have for over 10 years at this point. But I don't know if she knows that the shift that we went through as fans, how we had shifted from Fifth Harmony being so open into being Normani fans, right? It's completely night and day. Not just for Normani fans, but for all Fifth Harmony fans. It's night and day. And I don't think that any of us have completely adjusted to that. Not a single solo stan. Except probably C stands. And they're totally different in this equation. They got a year head start, okay? They had, you know what I mean? Nobody's had a full era. You know? Ali stands were eating for a bit. Monty stands were eating for a while. Dinah stands were kind of eating. I don't know. I mean, I feel like she was dropping like that, but she wasn't really placing herself everywhere, even though she was dropping on a regular basis. So, I don't know. But I'm definitely looking forward to the future with Normani. I think that after seeing... I mean, I didn't need this confirmation, but I think a lot of people, after seeing her at Renaissance World Tour and, you know, seeing how everybody is just loved, the way that she is loved in that space, in the real world, is completely different than what one may perceive online. Even though online, I think this girl is loved down, because there's a very thin line between love and hate. I'm just saying. But anyway, yeah. Seeing the real life love compared to the online hate, it's like it just doesn't compare. It does not compare one bit. And I'm excited to see where she is going to go next. I think that this album is going to be a very good one. What do I believe it will do commercially? I'm not sure. And we have to be realistic, I feel like, as fans. We do. Because there have been inconsistencies. She hasn't really built a basis. Right? So I do see her doing well with her singles, especially before the album. Singles after the album depends on how they manage. It's hard to sell a single after you already put out an album. Right? How are they going to do their singles? Are they going to do 2 singles before the album? Are they going to do one single with the album, and one single after? Selling a single with the album is just as hard as selling a single after the album, if you want to be honest. Always 2 singles before the album, 1 with the album. And then shoot, you could push a 4th. Maybe as a radio single or something. Don't make it super serious and invest in it. You know, right off the coattail of the album. Be smart. It really depends on how they manage her during this album era. She does have the same manager as Coco Jones now, which, thank God. Honestly, her manager's chewing. They're chewing. Be serious. Okay? So, yeah. I'm definitely feeling I'm feeling good about where she's going. I feel as though this is a new era. Era? I feel like this is a new era. I feel like we are stepping into a monumental moment for her, because she's taken a lot of time to prepare this era. So I'm very curious to see what they allow her to put into it, because I know if she had the opportunity, she would be extremely visual. If she could, she would do a visual album. But yeah, in regards to, the chart success, I just want to keep expectations real. Because when you look at it, even a number one song is not guaranteeing you a top 5 album. It's not guaranteeing you that. That don't mean nothing. Not these days. So, and then sales, ciao. Sales do not weigh the same. It's quite interesting, actually. So, I don't want to give a prediction for a number because I don't want to get but I'm just saying, don't expect the number one album. I don't expect the number one album. I'm not focused on chart success at all, but also setting a realistic expectation is probably a good thing, to be honest. Because there are a lot of people who see her chart success and know how well she sells a single, but that always doesn't equate to album success. And with not having a consistent presence to one day randomly pop out and announce a single and then maybe an album soon, a couple months even, that doesn't really guarantee you a very successful album in terms of charting. And I don't think charting defines success. I never have. I mean, look at Victoria Monet. Hello. Many definitions of success. But we are in a time where, well, stay in Twitter. Right? You say it doesn't matter. But some people do. Especially those fans. Because they see them drags, they gonna argue down. So, all I'm saying is, if you are a fan, keep your expectations realistic. Because, yeah, people do grow. Look at Doja, for instance. She debuts and she grows and grows and grows. Right? There's some people who will have their albums maybe not even touch the Billboard 200, but will sell out. Levels. Comprehensions. Don't feel you'll have to drag everybody if the album come out and it's not a top 5 album. Well, keep realistic. I think it is possible for her to get that. But you do also have to understand the industry that we are in. God do got her. Hell yeah, bitch. Again, let's be realistic. So I'm curious to think, what do y'all think this album is going to do? I think she has the capability to make this album massive. That depends on management for sure in the rollout. But also at the same time, I think she may have a better time selling a second album at this point. She could have a very successful first album, but I just see her albums getting better over time. Because she's a visionary. I think her first album is taking so long, obviously, because of issues behind the scenes, but also at the same time, the pressure. We know that pressure gets to her quite a bit sometimes. So, it can be a lot. She knows, very much so, you only get one. Right? And then the industry gives you this expiration date to where you got to get that second album out within about 2 years, or it's a wrap. You should get it out in a year. Right? That's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. Right? So to speak. But, child, I have been talking y'all ear off, okay? But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up because there's nothing else really to talk about. I think we've discussed all angles of this. But I'm looking forward to seeing Candy Paint. I wish Parade was on the album, but if she dropped Parade off the album, obviously there are better things. So I can't wait to see what that is, y'all. All right? I'm hopping off of here. I need some more tea because this gingerbread... Ooh, spice! Not for real. I'm getting off for y'all. All right? It's been about 45 minutes, okay? I'm talking too damn much, bitch, okay? Thank y'all so much. Make sure you go ahead and drink some water. Make sure you go ahead and eat some good food. Go ahead and stream Normani a couple times. And take care of yourself, all right, y'all? I'm out of here. Peace for now. Until next time.